time, you know, we thought it was terrible to have all those people killed in that down there, you know. And to think of a little country like Japan would start a war and think they could lick the United States. No way could they do that, you know.
Right.
No way. I was working on a Saturday, and around noon, he come in and he told me, he said, "Sam," he said, "I just come back from Pittsburgh." He said, "I can't get you deferred." And I was leaving Monday to go to the service, you know. And it was noon on Saturday. I said, "I gotta go home." I quit right then, grabbed my tools up and left and went home. Because I wanted to be with my family a little bit before I went to the service,
right.
You know. Then on Monday, I had to go down to Paula, and by the bank building, they had a bus there that was waiting. We got on the bus and went to Pittsburgh. And then from there, got on a train and went to Indiantown Gap, Pennsylvania, over by Harrisburg. And we got there, it was so cold, we had to wear overcoats. And then they had us to go out and police up the outside, pick up papers and cigarette butts and things that people were scattered around. And all of our buddies in the service said, "I hope we go to a warmer place than this." Well, they sent us to Mississippi, and that place was so stinking hot, we hated it. Yeah, I had Irene, she was 2.5, and Beverly was a year old. And I sure didn't want to go, but they were making the last push to get people in the service so they could end the war, you know. And I was 22 when I went in, and there was fellows in my outfit that was 40 years old. When we went to England, we was placed in an old school up on the second floor, and that was at Tiverton in England. Tiverton was the name of the place. In the daytime, we do a lot of training there, and it was more physical training than anything, like push-ups and all that stuff, you know, because we didn't have no bridges to build there. Yeah, they were flying all around us there. I was south of London, and my brother Dawn was north of London at the same time, and I didn't even know he was that close, you know. They were bombing all around the hospital at Exeter, that was south of London. There was one fellow had a body cast on. He was beat up so bad, I don't know how he survived. He had a body cast laying there for a whole month that I can remember.
Wow.
Yeah, he was just tore to pieces. This knife here, my cousin made it for me, and made the case, and I left and went down to Mississippi, and then he sent this down to me later on, as soon as he got it finished. And that was in '44. He made this and sent it down to me, to Mississippi. That was Handy Greenwood. Oh, and like I said, I had this with me over in England, and I went to the hospital, and I didn't get to take my knife with me, but one of my buddies, Howard Peck from Ohio, he got a hold of it, and he took care of it for 6 months, and then when he came back, he brought it home for me. And this was made by a cousin of mine that lived next door north of Paula, Elmer E. Horrell. He made it, and he made the case, and he put my name and my Army serial number on it, and his name on the back here where he stamped his name, E.E. Horrell. I had a little record player at home, so I got my wife to send the record player down. And then I went into a little town near Grenada, Mississippi, which was like 15 miles away. A couple other fellows went with me, and we bought some records. We couldn't get new ones, but we got used ones. And one of the records was brought out in '43, Born to Lose. Born to lose. And the fellows in the service there played to that until they wore the record out.
Wow.
Born to Lose. Yeah. It was played all the time.
Really?
I've always been.
I had a 37 DeSoto car at the time, and I needed tires. So you couldn't buy tires around home for them, you know. But in the service you could get tires. So I took my car out there, and I got a slip to get tires, four new tires. But I went 4 different places before I ever, maybe more than that, till I found 4 tires, and not one of them matched. Even soap powders and things like that. And out there, they had all that you wanted, so I bought soap powder and a service PX, and brought soap powder and stuff like that home, so we'd have it, because people didn't have it at home. Oh, even food and everything. It was hard to get even a lot of food at home, you know,
really?
And meat and stuff like that. Me, I got acting a fool with my buddy, and we were about the same build, and we were always acting a fool, and that's how I got my leg broken, acting a fool with him. And then I went to the hospital there in Exeter, England, and because I had all the bones broken in my left leg, they drilled a hole through my heel, put a silver pin through it, and then put a stirrup on there and run a rope up through a pulley and down, and put a 25-pound weight on my leg. And that hurt worse than a break for a good while. But after like 6 weeks, then I could pull that up and down with my leg. 25 pounds up and down, you know.
Yeah.
But the time in the hospital, laying there, I was working, making these bracelets and letter openers, and yeah, see, I made all kinds of these here bracelets, and there was a lot of work putting them all together, but it worked out.
Yeah, those are really nice.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
My daughter's got a lot of them out in Illinois where they live. Irene and Beverly. And I made these bracelets. This one got broke, but like I said, this was a flat piece of plastic, and I've carved it out with fanciness, and then heated it and curved them.
It's really neat.
But I kept busy. I couldn't sit there doing nothing. No, he just told me about being a turret gunner, and about making like 32 missions over Germany. And he was telling me about they had this young pilot who was 22 years old, and when he was on the ground he was acting a fool, like a silly guy all the time, you know, but when he got on the plane he meant business. And he was a great pilot, only 22 years old, and one time Dawn said there 3 engines were shot out, and only the one engine out on the end of a wing was running, and he brought that plane in safe. Now,
wow.
He was good. He had to be to control it like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.